Activision Blizzard had a lawsuit filed against them on July 20th by the state of California for violations of fair and non-discriminatory workplace laws concerning the treatment of women at their company. The lawsuit is filled with stories about sexual harassment and their toxic workplace culture and will be the sole focus of our episode today. This is the Daily Reset. Good morning, gamers, and welcome to the Daily Reset, brought to you by the Emergent Gamer. Subscribe and tune in every morning to get all the biggest news stories as you start your day. We're on all major podcast platforms, and we also upload our shows to our YouTube channel if you'd like to listen there. I'm Trip Zero, and this is your news for July 22nd, 2021. Before we begin our single story for today, I want to let our listeners know that the content of the story could be triggering to certain individuals. There is depiction of verbal and sexual harassment, and while there is no explicit recounting of sexual content, there are descriptions of unprofessional behavior and one story about an employee's suicide. These descriptions are important to document and share, not to sensationalize, but to shine a light on the behavior of men in workplaces and society and the detrimental effect it has on women in these shared spaces. This report, like the lawsuit filed, calls on men in this and every industry to be better and to hold other men in their spaces accountable. On Tuesday, July 20th, the state of California filed a lawsuit against Activision Blizzard after a 2-year investigation found evidence of pervasive sexual harassment and discrimination against female employees at the company. The California Department of Fair Employment and Housing, also known as the DFEH, laid out its case against the game developer in its 29-page lawsuit filing, detailing disparity between male and female employees in terms and conditions of employment, which include compensation, assignment, promotion, and termination, as well as unlawful sexual harassment, retaliation, failure to prevent discrimination, and unequal pay. The lawsuit lays out example after example of women being passed over for promotion, made to work harder than their male employees, and treated different in almost all aspects of the workplace. The lawsuit goes on to report on the culture of Activision Blizzard that became apparent as they performed their investigation. Described as a frat boy culture, which already is a label that minimizes male responsibility, the DFEH provided many examples of how women are mistreated and men seemingly do whatever they want during the workday. Here are some situations directly from the lawsuit. In the office, women are subjected to cube crawls, in which male employees drink copious amounts of alcohol as they crawl their way through various cubicles in the office and often engage in inappropriate behavior toward female employees. This included verbal sexual harassment and groping. The report also details a situation where a female employee committed suicide on a business trip because of the sexual relationship she was having with her male supervisor who accompanied her on that trip. In addition to their work materials, that supervisor brought sex toys along as well. The same female was also the victim of workplace harassment before that, where nude photos of her were passed around at a holiday party without her consent. As for how the male employees were treated and how they act during the workday, there is a lot of detail there as well. According to the report, male employees proudly come into work hungover, play video games for long periods of time during work hours while delegating their responsibilities to female employees, engage in banter about their sexual encounters, talk openly about female bodies, and joke about rape. Activision Blizzard has already responded to the lawsuit, and they immediately went on the defensive. They started by saying that there is no place in our company or any industry, for sexual misconduct or harassment of any kind. We take every allegation seriously and investigate all claims. Describing the report as inaccurate and not the Blizzard workplace of today, they accused the DFEH of including distorted and false accounts of harassment, with the goal being to rush an inaccurate complaint to court. They also called the organization disgraceful and unprofessional for including the complaint about the woman's suicide in the lawsuit, stating that it has no bearing in this case and is reprehensible conduct towards the grieving family. They go on to detail every change the company has already gone through to address concerns and what trainings employees are required to participate in. They also state they strive to provide all employees fair compensation based on performance. Many of Activision Blizzard's statements in their response are disproven by data. Activision Blizzard has 3 women on their C-level leadership team, 2 of which were hired in the last year: Helene Klasky, Chief Communications Officer in March of 2020, and Frances F. Townsend, Executive VP for Corporate Affairs, just this past March of 2021. During the bulk of this investigation, the only woman on the leadership team was Claudine Naughton, Chief People Officer, who joined in August of 2019. When Naughton started, her salary was $250,000. Last year, it was $655,000. Out of all the rest of the compensation for men in equal position levels to her over the same time period, no man made less than $852,000. Many are paid over $1 million. Only one man earned $624,808, Dennis Durkin, former Chief Financial Officer and current Executive Advisor, and that was in 2018. Last year, in 2020, his advisor role earned him a salary of $906,923, $250,000 more than C-level Claudine Naughton last year, for those keeping score at home. Also stated in the lawsuit was DFEH's attempts to settle this with Activision Blizzard directly before going to court, something that Activision Blizzard is trying to insinuate they did not do. The game's devs chose their words carefully in this statement. They accused DFEH of refusing to inform them of the issues they perceived. In fact, they tried to do this, but Activision Blizzard never came to an agreement with the affected parties. Here is more direct from the lawsuit. DFEH attempted to resolve this matter without litigation. Prior to filing this civil action, the DFEH required all parties to participate in mandatory dispute resolution in the department's internal dispute resolution division free of charge to the parties in an effort to resolve the dispute without litigation. Specifically, the DFEH invited defendants to participate in a mediation session with the department's internal dispute resolution division on July 1st, 2nd, and 15th, 2021, but the parties were unable to resolve administrative complaints. The DFEH is seeking an injunction to force the company to comply with workplace protections and for the company to settle up on unpaid wages, pay adjustments, back pay, and lost wages and benefits for the women making the accusations. That's going to be it for Thursday, July 22nd, 2021. Subscribe on your favorite podcast service to get up to speed in the gaming world every morning with me, your host, TripZero. And be sure to find and listen to our main show, the Emergent Gamer podcast, live on twitch.tv/emergent_gamer on Wednesday nights, and then on podcast services the next day. Get the news with me and hear the in-depth discussion with the rest of us. I'll see you tomorrow.